Man, never gets old looking at this thing. I mean, it's crazy. And I remember that summer I tried growing them in my garden and they kept leaning over and I learned I had to stake them up, otherwise they get all curved. Brussels sprouts, we're talking Brussels sprouts today on Produce Geek. Hi, it's John with ProduceGeek.com, and on our videos we just love sharing what's in season and a little bit about how to enjoy it. And so it's the beginning of October when we're filming this, and Brussels sprouts are now in peak season from Southern California. And actually there will be some regional Brussels sprouts available from some different states during the fall. And growing up, I did not like Brussels sprouts. I had only had them out of a can. Even at the restaurant I worked with that had a big hot foods bar, they weren't preparing fresh Brussels sprouts. And so I had this notion that Brussels sprouts are mealy and have this sulfury taste. And here in the last 10, 15 years, as I've learned how to cook Brussels sprouts properly, I really love them. They're so good when they're cooked properly. So what's the secret? High heat, short cooking time. It's when you overcook them slow and low that they get that sulfury, nasty taste. And so at high heat brings it out and really creates some great flavor. So first off, how do you prep Brussels sprouts? So at the store, when you're buying loose Brussels sprouts, you're going to see little dots on the end, so maybe some discoloration, but you have to prep these anyway, so I don't get too worried about that. When I'm prepping Brussels sprouts, I have a sharp knife and I want to cut that edge off the bottom of the Brussels sprout, maybe an eighth of an inch, just to make a clean cut at the bottom, and then I pull off any loose wrapper leaves. And I want all my Brussels sprouts to have about an even size, so I may take a bigger one, this is kind of a bigger one, and cut it in half. And again, remove any loose leaves. Okay, now I've got that one ready. And then a smaller one, again, I'm just trimming that butt off and pulling off any loose leaves. Now I've got some Brussels sprouts that are ready to either do for a quick steam and then saute, or I like to roast them at high heat for a short time on a baking pan. So these I prepared by tossing these trimmed Brussels sprouts in olive oil and then seasoning it with a generous pinch of coarse salt, like sea salt, and then a lot of cracked pepper. Spread them out on a baking tray and roast them at 450 degrees for 10 minutes. Pull them out, flip them over, and the second part to get them fork tender to where the fork went in nicely in the biggest ones, that took another 8 minutes. So this was 18 minutes cooking time total at 450 degrees, but depending on the size of the Brussels sprout or how many you have on the pan, you want to adjust that time up or down a little bit. So how do these taste? That's just a really, really nice vegetable flavor. There's a sweetness and nuttiness from the caramelization of the olive oil at the high heat, and salt and pepper just brings out a great taste. I could just sit here and spend the rest of our time together eating these Brussels sprouts, but I'll spare you from that. High heat, short cooking time. Another great way I love to do this is if I prepared some bacon in a pan, and then after I would have steamed or blanched these Brussels sprouts for a quick time, then I'd finish sauteing them in that bacon grease. Hey, the other thing I wanted to quick do is it's not local blueberry season, but production of blueberries in South America has continued to increase, so to provide us fresh blueberries year round. So it's coming into their spring, and so places like Peru have a lot of fresh, great blueberries. So I want to do some taste testing. First, we'll start on the organic. This is an organic blueberry from Peru. I'm going to taste 2 berries, and I'll compare it to another brand. Okay, not bad. Just a typical standard blueberry, a little sweet, a little tangy. These are Driscoll's berries, organic out of Mexico. Not quite as firm in this particular pack, but really nice flavor. I like the sweetness of these Driscolls. Let's hop over to some conventional. This is Family Tree Farms product from Peru. Ooh, these have nice size and they feel firm. Crunchy. And probably a little more tangy than sweet, but a lot of people like that kind of blueberry. My daughter loves them, crunchy and tangy. So this is a Driscoll's from Peru. Ooh, these are big, real big. Crunchy, sweet, nice blueberry aftertaste, but not overly sweet. I like that aftertaste. It's a real good flavor in your mouth. Then Driscoll has a special pack called Driscoll's Limited Edition. I think they just released this year, so I haven't really had a chance to try these much before. They're saying this is a sweetest batch, and these are their special genetics of blueberries grown in Mexico. Look at the size of these. Sweet, tangy. That's a nice blueberry. I'm going to try these again because I probably was even expecting something even more sweet, but this is the first of the season, so I'm eager to see how these come along because that could be an amazing blueberry here later this fall if you can find them. What is one of the main things I'm looking for in blueberries as I'm buying these imports is I'm looking for lots of that powdery bloom on the fruit, not all rubbed off completely dark blue. I'm looking for that powdery bloom. That's that protective layer that naturally grows on the fruit. And when you see a lot of it, that's a sign of freshness, and that could be a good, healthy blueberry. So keep checking back with us. And if you find something that you really love, a fruit or vegetable that you really love, share it with a friend. Here's to fresh, everyone.